Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality are reporting elevated ozone and particulate matter levels across the Corpus Christi region. This is due to recent warm temperatures, light winds, and residual smoke coming from southern Mexico. Peak concentrations this afternoon and early evening could be unhealthy for sensitive groups, especially in the southern coastal bend and inland regions. Sensitive individuals, including children, older adults, people with lung or heart conditions, and those active outdoors, are encouraged to limit prolonged outdoor activity. People with lung diseases such as asthma and those routinely active outdoors for 6 or more hours a day may experience coughing, shortness of breath, headaches, eye and throat irritation, and nausea. The Corpus Christi Nueces County Public Health District will continue to monitor conditions and provide air quality updates. Yesterday, officials with the Inner Harbor Program Management Office held the first of what will be biweekly briefings on the Inner Harbor Desalination Plant. KEDT's Emily Salazar has more.
On Tuesday, officials with the Inner Harbor Program Management Office held the first of what will be biweekly briefings on the Inner Harbor Desalination Plant. Director of the Program Management Office, Brett Van Hazel, said the project is still very much in its early stages.
Included in Phase 1A. And so we started that in December. We're at the end of that phase right now. So we're in the process of reviewing the draft basis of design report, which is it's a comprehensive document that details how we're going to build the project. Last month, we started the first part of Phase 1B, which is our next phase that we're going to transition into.
During the briefing, Councilwoman Kaylin Paxson raised concerns from residents about far-field modeling, an issue left with many questions during the March 25th council meeting. Van Hazel responded, explaining GHD's modeling is limited in scope.
We're not modeling the entire bay system to see the impact the Inner Harbor is going to have on the bay system. We're modeling the impact it's going to have on just the Inner Harbor.
Councilwoman Carolyn Vaughn also questioned a steep price increase for a demonstration site for the plant, which was acknowledged by City Manager Peter Zanoni.
So $5 million is what I heard, and then I'm hearing $18 million. That was a big jump. Is that true or not?
That's true, yeah. So the keyword assumption, using other examples that exist and working with Freeze and Nichols, they thought it would be around $6 million. However, it's coming in at a higher price at that $18 million.
And that's a concern for me. And the reason for that is because I'm thinking to myself, okay, if it's going to come in for just a prototype 3 times more than what they thought, what is our desal going to be? So
yeah,
that's a scary thought.
The project's guaranteed maximum price is expected to be presented to City Council in December 2025. Corpus Christi Water COO Drew Molly said the city plans to apply for a federal grant this fall that could cover up to $180 million in costs. The next project briefing is scheduled for June 10th. For KEDT News, I'm Emily Salazar.
A report released by the Federal Aviation Administration said there would be no significant environmental impact to Boca Chica Beach if SpaceX's proposal to increase their Starship launches from there is approved. Last year, SpaceX announced plans to increase their launches from the facility to up to 25 per year. Yesterday, the FAA issued its final environmental assessment to analyze the proposal. In an executive summary of the environmental assessment, they found that the additional launches are not expected to result in significant climate-related impacts. Air quality, noise, and hazardous materials were among the categories the FAA considered before issuing its findings. Officials also said in a statement that SpaceX would need to take measures to minimize environmental impact to the area. Corpus Christi Police Officer Marco Ramirez has been honored as one of the country's top cops. He is among 10 officers nationwide selected by their peers for this prestigious recognition. The 32nd annual event in Washington, D.C., hosted by the National Association of Police Organizations, will hold an award ceremony this Monday. Officer Ramirez is a graduate of the 81st Police Academy and has nearly 3 years of dedicated service with the Corpus Christi PD, reaching the 3-year mark next month. A Big Bend area ranch on the Rio Grande is set to become Texas's newest piece of public land. Yesterday, the Nature Conservancy and the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department announced the purchase of the 671-acre Health Canyon Ranch on the border near Big Bend National Park. The ranch is one of the only access points for river trips through the pristine lower canyons of the Rio Grande, a federally protected stretch of the river. Officials say the deal's an important addition to land conservation efforts in the Big Bend region. The ranch is set to be managed as part of the Black Gap Wildlife Management Area. A new effort to help save important Latinx landmarks has begun, and your help is needed. KEDT's Spencer Chioc tells us more.
Less than 1% of the National Register of Historic Places acknowledge Latinx contributions in America. The Latinos in Heritage Conservation is asking people to help remember the places that matter most. The LHC recently launched an endangered sites tracker on their website to help preserve places that are under threat from being forgotten. Executive Director Selah Casper spoke about the need of this project.
Early on within historic preservation, there was a really big movement to tell the colonized story of the Spanish. So a lot of times, especially here in Texas, I was born and raised here, went to school here, went to college here. A lot of times people will look at things like the missions and they associate that with Latino heritage, when in fact that necessarily is not the case.
Any place, standing or not, with historical, cultural importance to a local community is encouraged to be submitted and could be a way to save it.
I have a site that I had been working with in West Texas, and that site was so beloved to the local community, and it was so cherished because it used to be an indigent county house, which were like these like orphanages like during World War II. And this family was so beloved that had taken care of these multi-generations of individuals that had been nurtured through the system. But what they didn't know was that there was like a Latino history tied to it. And so a lot of times we find that the most detrimental thing is the unknown history.
There is no limit on how many places will be added to the tracker once the initial application process ends June 15th. The sites chosen will be announced in September. For KEDT News, I'm Spencer Chihawk.
Travelers at all U.S. airports will see some changes beginning today when those wanting to travel to the country will need a Real ID compliant card. If you have a gold star in the top right corner of your state-issued ID or driver's license, you're all set. The Transportation Security Administration and the Department of Homeland Security are implementing the nationwide changes to prevent fraud. If you don't have a Real ID, you can use a passport. If you have neither, you might have to go through additional screening. Those without a Real ID or passport could also be denied from going through the TSA checkpoint, preventing them from boarding a flight. The changes apply to domestic flights and passengers over the age of 18. If you aren't sure if your ID card is compliant, you can check the Homeland Security website at dhs.gov. 1,407. That is the expected number of students earning degrees at Texas A&M Corpus Christi's commencement ceremony next Saturday. It's a record-breaking number for a single semester. Commencement speaker will be Dr. Scott Elliff, Associate Clinical Professor of Educational Administration at the Island University. Meanwhile, Texas A&M Kingsville has been designated an Opportunity University by the Carnegie classifications. The designation recognizes the provision of all students with high access to education and high earning outcomes after graduation. The university is one of 11 public universities in the state to earn this classification. In state news, the Texas Department of State Health Services is reporting the West Texas measles outbreak has added 19 cases since Friday. KTTZ Samantha Larned has more.
The state has seen 702 confirmed measles cases since the outbreak began in late January. More than half of the cases were confirmed in Gaines County, where the outbreak was first identified. But connected cases have been reported in 29 Texas counties and 4 counties in New Mexico. According to the latest update from the Texas Health Department, fewer than 10 of the confirmed cases are estimated to be actively infectious. In Lubbock, I'm Samantha Larned.
Mosquito season has started in South Texas, and the CDC has issued a special recommendation for doctors to keep watch for dengue fever. Texas Public Radio bioscience and medicine reporter Bonnie Petrie shares more.
Dengue is the most common mosquito-borne disease in the world, though in Texas, the biggest concern is not that you'll get it from a local mosquito. Kelly Broussard is a state health department epidemiologist who specializes in dengue, and she says the biggest concern is that someone will pick it up while on a trip to Mexico.
We're seeing such an incredibly high level of exposure to just anybody who's in these areas. We really want doctors to think this might be dengue if they're even a little suspicious.
One reason for that is someone with dengue should not take NSAIDs like ibuprofen. It could cause liver damage. I'm Bonnie Petrie reporting.
Victoria's South Texas Strutters made a strong showing on the global stage as they recently competed at the Dance Worlds and Dance Summit competitions in Orlando. At the Dance Worlds, the senior elite squad competed in 2 divisions. In the senior small contemporary lyrical category, the team placed 10th in preliminaries, advanced to the semis, and finished 29th out of 41 teams. In the senior small pom division, they earned 13th place in prelims. At the Dance Summit, Tiny Elite swept their categories, taking first place in both semis and finals in Tiny Small Contemporary Lyrical and Tiny Small Jazz. Youth Elite placed 7th in semis and advanced to the finals in the Youth Small Contemporary Lyrical division, finishing 5th overall. And finally, Mini Elite earned 3rd in semifinals and 4th overall in Mini Small Contemporary Lyrical, and placed 7th in both semis and finals in Mini Small Jazz. The team also competed in Youth Small Pom, finishing 6th and 5th overall. And both the University of Houston Victoria baseball and softball teams will host watch parties for the NAIA opening round selection show this afternoon. Those will be at the Power Avenue Warehouse at 402 East Power Avenue in Victoria. The NAIA selection show will reveal the full 45-team fields and announce opening round matchups and sites. This will be the first time UHV baseball has received an at-large bid to the tournament. The baseball watch party begins at 4 p.m., with the softball watch party following at 5. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.